Welcome, everybody. My name is Brian McKay. I'm Executive Vice President of Production Operations at Warner Brothers. Happy you could all come. Next up, we have Noah Bergman from Universal, who's going to give us a perspective of DCDC from a content provider point of view.
Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate it. I'm going to take a step back, and I have no slides for you because I think I presented my perspective at 2 CinemaCons, 3 Show Easts, 1 Show West, and whatever was before that. I'd like to talk about my job and how DCDC can simplify my job, but also simplify the relationship that we have with exhibition. My job is very simple at Universal Pictures. I'm responsible for ensuring our content gets from a production environment to an exhibition environment in the most efficient and most effective way. And there is a generational change in how we're doing that started with digital cinema and continues in the DCDC world. So I'd like to focus on pure content distribution, on the ability to use technology. Am I getting feedback? To use technology efficiently to build a better business relationship between studios and exhibitors. So there's 3 precepts to DCDC and digital delivery via satellite that are most important to me. And the first one is efficiency. DCDC allows me as a content distributor to have a single point of departure and a single delivery process across the whole of the territory that I oversee. So when I am working with my post-production partners and my distribution partners, I have the ability to create a strategy and a mechanism with DCDC and with the expertise that someone like Deluxe EcoStar brings to the table and to really customize the way that I distribute content. DEH acts as a support mechanism to me as a studio in a way that's very effective when I need to understand which issues affect my distribution, triage those issues, and ensure that my content gets to screens in a timely manner so that you can play them out and we can all benefit from the infrastructure. Secondly, what DCDC has done is created an environment where I have tools that I can myself proactively track and manage my content. There's a DCDC web portal that's available to every customer of DCDC, be it on the distribution or the exhibition side, and it gives me real-time access to where my content is in the pipeline, where I have issues, and how I need to fix those problems, be it weather-related, be it delivery-related, be it an issue with the content itself. The goal of no black screens, the goal of not missing playtimes is imperative to me for the feature films that I distribute and for alternative content that studios such as myself are looking to get into and that other content providers are already providing to your theaters. So efficiency for me is a key to DCDC, an environment where you have a utility that allows the community to jointly build tools that benefit both sides is very advantageous in that space. I think secondly, and maybe least importantly, oddly enough, is cost savings. To me, broadcast delivery obviously is all about scale. The more scale we get in the network, the bigger the platform, the more efficient it gets, the bigger rebates we get as customers, and the more we can reinvest those savings back into our businesses in terms of improvements, in terms of other technologies, and in terms of the kind of content that Universal and every other content provider is producing. And then the third is flexibility. In a 35 millimeter world, we had limited flexibility. A film print is a film print, a broken reel is a broken reel, and there wasn't really much that you could do about it other than wait for a replacement. In a digital world, a hard drive has to get to your site. If there's an issue with that content, you don't have the ability to replace it in a readily available way. What DCDC does as the only adaptive system in the marketplace, from my perspective, is it does three things. It allows for new platforming strategies to be tested by the marketplace together. When DCDC distributes content, we distribute content to everyone on that platform. So as we as distributors and you as exhibitors evaluate the performance of a film, DCDC allows me to much more proactively and much more aggressively identify where I can exploit that content and grow that pie based on the performance of that specific piece of content. Secondly, it allows me to correct mistakes and correct issues. In the event that we book a film with an exhibitor and for some reason that booking confirmation doesn't get to our vendor, in the old way of doing things, it would take a certain amount of time to deliver a hard drive, and you would, in essence, almost imperatively miss shows. In this world, the content sits at the exhibitor site. I have a very limited window in which I can get content to you and you can get it to screen. With DCDC, that window is 1 hour. If you're a DCDC customer and you need a booking and it's agreed between the content provider and exhibitor to share that content with the customer, it can be done in a 1 hour period. I book it, DCDC unlocks it, you see it, you can play it. So it creates a huge amount of flexibility to fix issues. And lastly, DCDC in my mind is the first incumbent system that allows me to grow very efficiently with new technologies. Over the course of the next 3 to 5 years, and maybe even sooner than that, there will be technologies in the marketplace that may be more efficient than satellite, maybe complementary to satellite, or maybe disruptive to it. And from my perspective, DCDC as a platform and the way that we have designed it creates ultimate flexibility. DCDC server can receive IP lines so if you're using terrestrial delivery solutions, it can receive satellite distribution, it can receive hard drive backup. It creates the platform upon which we can really grow as an industry, the platform upon which we can test technology in a very controlled environment, and then we can adapt that technology together, because in a way, everyone owns DCDC. So the decision of what DCDC looks like in 1 year or 3 years or 5 years is the decision of the customer base. Obviously, the 5 partners who put the money up to get DCDC off the ground had to structure it in a specific way. But as content develops, as alternative content becomes a piece of this business in a more meaningful way, as advertising content and other types of content evolve, the model will change again. We'll all be here in a few years and we'll be talking about the new DCDC or the next DCDC. But having the platform in place, from my perspective, makes it easier for me to move that content to you, to test that content with you, and then to exploit it in the most proactive way that we possibly can. So with that, I'll turn it back to you.
A lot of people had a hard time believing that we were just trying to create an industry utility that was going to service all the industry and be an open platform and a transparent platform. I think once people got over that hurdle and saw there were no hidden agendas and that we were just focused on trying to come together as an industry to do the right thing for the overall industry and not for our individual companies or individual personalities. And the good news for everybody is that the system works flawlessly, and I think all the studios would attest, and the exhibitors that have experienced it, they've because I'm not a technological person, I was more the the business aspects of this, but Randy and his team have put together an incredible platform that's really going to serve the industry well.
Okay, great. Next question. Oh, we have a question?
I do. I'm wondering what the independent film producers, how are they going to play into this incredible system that you all have created? sounds to me like you've got all the studios wrapped up. How does the independent film producer use this system?
They become a customer, first of all, and they are welcome to become a customer. The platform is open to all content providers of every stripe. So they have to decide what their distribution pattern is going to be to see if satellite distribution will make sense at all for them, because there are costs attendant to that. But to the extent that they get past that hurdle, then there is no impediment whatsoever.
Well, and probably one thing that's important, and again, I'll let the technical people respond, is that satellite is dependent upon distributing to a much wider platform to become cost efficient. And so that's why it was incredibly important that we come together as an industry in order to get the benefits of scalability and to be able to distribute over a real broad platform.
Okay. My next question is, Randy mentioned the announcement, the agreement with Deluxe to take over their satellite footprint. That I think is a pretty large thing to happen. Can you expand on how you think that impacts the project and going forward and DCDC overall?
Well, yeah, so that, as I said, Joe Hart and his team at Deluxe, who've been just terrific partners of ours since the beginning of this whole process, has and we started talking about this, I don't know, Joe, 6 months ago, maybe, something like that. And it became clear that it was one of those deals where 1 + 1 really equals 8 in terms of what it would do both for DCDC, Deluxe EchoStar, and frankly for the entire industry, because it clarifies positions. We were constantly, both of us, getting questions about, okay, so what is Deluxe EchoStar position? What is DCDC position? Let's see, Deluxe, you're distributing DCDC to us, but we're also your customer. How does that work exactly? So this really rationalizes the marketplace, and I think makes the roles a whole lot clearer. It was from the economic point of view, I mean, it was pretty easy also, because we were able to from our point of view, from the DCDC point of view, lower the cost of installation. The effective cost of installation over the course of the 699 sites that are currently satellite enabled in the Deluxe EchoStar network. So it was pretty easy.
I've got a question. What about outside of the US? Have you got any views on that yet, or is it too early to talk about that?
Well, we're big advocates of it. Obviously, speaking on behalf of Cinemark, and we're working with the studios and our fellow exhibitors in Latin America to build a similar type of it might not be the exact model, but a similar model that would be adapted to Latin America. And I got to presume that the Australian exhibitors or the European exhibitors, that everybody's going to look at the platform and see how efficient it is and how productive it is and the kind of access it creates, to where I think it will become a global model. Now, to Randy's point, in the U.S., it did take us some time to work through the model and to work through all the various relationships, to get it done. But now that we've got the model created and identified the type of technology that we need, and the type of contracts we need between the studios and the satellite systems and the content providers and the exhibitors, they can take that model, because it's a very transparent system, and have access to that model, And, you know, and I mean, I would like to think it's going to become the model for the entire world myself.
Yeah, I would just add, you know, on the technology side of things, the KenCast guys, as they've become to be known on the inside of DCDC, have been great technological partners too. They are constantly upgrading their software, giving us new capabilities that we've asked for faster than we thought maybe they would even be there. So that's been something I think that's been attractive to the international scene as well, because they don't have those kinds of relationships right now.
Do we get a discount on our next order now?
I certainly hope so.